I'm Ron Lloyd, the Director of Agronomy at 360 Yield Center. We're here today on my home farm, located just a few miles east of Girard, Illinois. Behind me, we have a field of about 300 acres. It's a nitrogen trial that's one of over 100 that we'll have across the country to better understand nitrogen in the corn plant. We've split this 300 acres into really three, I'll call it three tests. We have three strips. And those three strips, of course, each being about 80 to 100 acres. Let me describe them. The first one, we put 225 pounds of nitrogen down in one form of nitrogen. And then we came back in the strip next to it, we put 125 pounds with that form, and then we used another form at 100 pounds. So it also has 225. The corn behind me is at V1. It was planted about 2 weeks ago, and we did all of these applications 2 days before planting. And then the third strip has 125 pounds down, and we will be coming back in that strip with 360 Y-drop later in the season, depending on what 360 soil scan tells us. We'll be monitoring basically the fuel tank of nitrogen in this field, and when we feel that it's ready to apply, we will. Likely V8 to V10 will be our target, but again, we'll let the environment and we'll let the tank tell us when we need to come back. The other thing that we'll be doing out here later in the season, and we'll split it across the three treatments, is using 360 undercover to really look at plant health. So the whole idea is to keep the plant as healthy as we can and spoon-fed throughout the season, but also protected. So we'll likely come back with 360 undercover and some fungicide treatments in this field to see the impact that that'll have. We also have some trials on my west farm, which is about 7 miles west of us, but very different than what you see behind me. The home farm is fairly high organic matter, fairly flat, black, good soils. But as we go to the west farm, it's a little more rolling, it's a little higher clay content, lower organic matter. So we think we'll be able to pick up some value and advantages of using other nutrients besides nitrogen. So what that trial will look like is we planted it 2 weeks ago as well. We put 60 pounds of nitrogen over the top of it right after planting, and we'll come in with different strips in the Y-drop to look at rate. So we'll have different rates of nitrogen to understand a response. And we'll also probably play with sulfur, maybe P, K, possibly some boron and zinc as well. And we think that we'll be able to see some advantages and benefits from that standpoint also.